I just want to give you a realistic expectation of what it can take to create a very professional podcast. So your timeline can look like this. Week 1, you do a kickoff. This is your brainstorming your concept. You're talking about format. You're naming your show. You're asking yourself those 3 questions. What do you want to say? Who do you want to hear it? And what do you want to come of it? Week 2, you might head into your recording studio. We highly recommend is creating what we call an episode 0, a 1 to 2 minute trailer. Introduce yourself, tell your audience what your podcast is about. Maybe you have a few interviews or something in the can, so you can take snippets of those and put it in that episode 0, just to get your audience intrigued enough to want to subscribe or learn more about your show. Also, it can be something that you can use as a commercial later on for if you're going to be in another podcast, or maybe you want to buy an ad in another podcast. This is a good time to get started on that artwork, your logo and the copy and stuff like that. Give yourself time to practice. Give yourself a day to goof around. You may use that tape. It may come in really handy, but it might also help just really relax yourself into talking behind the microphone. Weeks 2 to 4, you're editing your audio, you're adding music, you're mixing it down, and you're going through that revision period. Let a couple people that are interested in the subject matter hear it and ask them if they're getting out of it what you want. You know, what do you want them to do, think, or feel when they take their earbuds out of their ear? This is the time that you'll be getting that infrastructure set up. Social media, Google Play, iTunes, all that stuff. Making sure all your ducks are in a row. And weeks 4 to 5, that's when you're going to publish your episode 0 and your episode 1. Blast it out on all the social media channels, post it on your website, all that stuff. So I would say at that point, you should have probably an episode 0, at least an episode 1, maybe an episode 2 or 3. The beginning stage of your podcast production and all of that can be laborious. This first 5 weeks can be kind of clunky and take longer than you think. When you have finished maybe 3 or 4 episodes, you will get into a rhythm and you'll understand this medium so much better that your production time will shrink in half. And by 10 episodes, you'll be like, okay, I got this, and you'll really get into it. There's some crazy statistic about how many podcasters get burnout after and only publish 3 episodes. And my hope is that this, by doing all that pre-production stuff, that doesn't happen to you. That you will get excited about this medium. You'll allow yourself enough time. Your expectations will be, kind of on par with the reality of what this experience is going to be like. And then later on down the line, you'll know podcast is going to get a lot easier to create.